aware of this issue, but I'm not able to give you a definitive response on this, and I will ask our Office of Tax Analysis to...
Well, ask them to do that because it's bipartisan. There's people in here that we've all agreed this needs to be done. This is not a partisan issue. It literally is going to save Main Street. It's going to save small business, and they'll pay tax when they need it and not pay tax when they don't need to. So I would appreciate if you would check into that and maybe get back with us on that.
Okay, we'll try to do that.
Thank you. I'm also concerned with FinCEN's proposed beneficial ownership rule that expands the information required under the Corporate Transparency Act and the effect that these expanded requirements will have on Main Street. The CTA was intended to ensure easy compliance for businesses. However, this proposed rule goes beyond the simple statute and lacks clarity on compliance guidelines. This will impact 32 million small businesses that will be expected to comply come 2024. And Acting Director Das has done little to inform the businesses on the new responsibility of reporting. So when talking to business owners back in my district and frankly all over the country, they've expressed their frustration with the insufficient information coming out of Treasury on how to comply and file returns properly, and they fear they'll be held liable for the non-compliance of the BOI rules. So Madam Secretary, what actions is Treasury taking to educate small businesses like mine in Texas on their upcoming obligations to file beneficial ownership information with FinCEN, and when can we expect FinCEN to lay out a clear plan for engagement? We want to know the rules.
So FinCEN is working to finalize the rules that are necessary to make this very important transformative database available, and understand that there are some burdens on small businesses to comply with this, and we'll work with them to provide information that's necessary for them to comply.
Well, that's important. Small business wants to comply. It's just like LIFO. We need to know the rules. Let's get it fixed so we can move on. And in the short time that I have, I'll cut my question a little back, but fentanyl is coming across our borders at an alarming rate, flooding our communities and killing thousands of Americans each year and future generations. We know law enforcement has found cartel members working directly with the Chinese money laundering organizations to outsource cartel operations and facilitate movement through the United States. So quickly, Madam Secretary, can you expand on what Treasury is doing to combat China and the role they play in cartel financing? Is the administration considering tougher sanctions? It's killing future generations of our young people.
We have put in place some sanctions, and we're looking to try to discourage and sanction the provision of precursor chemicals that are critical to the manufacture and sale of fentanyl. To the degree it's a critical
Gentleman's time has
issue
expired.
for us.
Good morning, friends. So this could finally happen. Top Republicans are now eyeing a brand new deal with Democrats regarding the spending. The good news is that this agreement could lead to more direct relief payments to the American people. If an agreement is finally reached, millions of households may begin to receive monthly direct payments that are worth hundreds of dollars. My dearest friends, please do me a big favor and watch until the end of this video for the complete details. Also, I will be announcing more winners this coming Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. My dearest friends, if you'd like to enter these weekly giveaways, please click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances, friends, of winning the giveaways. Tax writers in the House of Representatives and Senate are gearing up for negotiations over tax reform as congressional lawmakers introduce their first proposals for a package that's expected to garner widespread support from both sides of the aisle. Senate Democrats have made clear that they would like to make some form of the crisis-era child tax credit permanent, while House Republicans are proposing comprehensive legislation that includes an estimated $240 billion in tax cuts for big and small businesses, as well as individual Americans. For 6 months during the crisis, the federal government provided parents up to $300 a month per child as part of President Biden's sweeping American Rescue Plan Act. Since the tax benefits lapsed in 2021, Democrats have made multiple attempts to revive the payments, citing data that shows that money reached more than 36 million U.S. households. It was also estimated to have cut childhood poverty by as much as 30%. Knowing that the child tax credit is a top issue for Democrats, GOP Representative Don Bacon told reporters, "This may be a bargaining chip that we can use in reaching a deal on tax reform." Democratic Senator Michael Benet also told reporters last week, "The child tax credit, as we saw for those 6 months, was the most significant domestic policy achievement, and if we can reenact it, it would be again." Growing interest in re-implementing some form of the child tax credit could further incentivize congressional Republicans to use the policy as a way to negotiate with Democrats. A number of states, including Maryland, Massachusetts, New Jersey, Minnesota, California, Colorado, New Mexico, Vermont, and New York, have passed their own programs offering similar credits for families. Even Republicans, like Governor Greg Gianforte of Montana, have introduced efforts to provide this type of relief for parents in the state. Some congressional Republicans are already beginning to warm up to the idea of cutting a tax deal with the family benefit. Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio told reporters that it's one of the few issues of tax policy where there is some bipartisan agreement. Then Senator Todd Young said there would be some GOP interest in a child tax credit if it's properly constructed and properly sized in a tax package. That might take significant whittling down of the $300 monthly payments that were offered in 2021. If the crisis-era version of the child tax credit were to permanently become extended, it would cost the government $105 billion a year. However, the White House has insisted on restoring some form of the expansion and criticized the proposal from the House Ways and Means Committee for not including a child tax credit provision. National Economic Council Director Lael Brainard wrote in a recent memo, "The president believes that any bill that cuts taxes for large corporations must also cut taxes for working people and families with children." So dear friends, what are your thoughts on expanding the credit? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Pennsylvania families across the income spectrum could receive more than $2.5 billion in tax breaks by 2028 under 2 House bills that passed the State House last week. The proposals passed with bipartisan support, but they might not pass the GOP-controlled state Senate. The state has roughly $12 billion in cash reserves accumulated during the crisis, but the state's independent fiscal office, which analyzes Pennsylvania's finances, predicts revenue shortfalls over the next 5 years, which will roughly equal the state's current windfall. State lawmakers constantly battle over whether to spend or to save, but Democrats now control a legislative chamber and are bringing their own priorities to the table. So earlier this month, State House Democrats advanced a budget based on Governor Shapiro's proposal that included hundreds of millions of additional dollars for education and housing. Currently, Democrats are pushing to create or expand 2 state tax programs that piggyback off federal policies. Well, my magnificent and most marvelous friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for this morning. Thank you, dearest friends, for joining me here every day and for being part of this community. To say thank you and to show my appreciation, I will be announcing several winners this coming Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. My dearest friends, if you'd like to enter the weekly giveaway, please click and like several of my videos and comment the keyword of each video that you watch. The more videos that you comment on, dear friends, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed week.